This is why most people stay average forever. Most people don't fail in life. They slowly settle into routines that feel normal, safe, and permanent. This video isn't about money. It's about the invisible patterns that keep people average year after year without them even realizing it. Comfort removes urgency. Busy hides misdirection. And predictability quietly kills ambitions. If you've ever felt like time is passing but nothing is really changing, this is for you. This channel isn't motivation, it's preparation. Watch slowly, think carefully, stay. Most people don't fail in life. They don't collapse. They don't lose everything. They don't hit a dramatic breaking point. They stay. They stay exactly where they are. Same routines, same income, same stress, same conversations year after year. And the most dangerous part isn't that they're stuck, it's that nothing feels wrong enough to force change. Because no one wakes up one day and decides to live an average life. It doesn't start as average, it starts as temporary. You tell yourself this is just a phase, that you're figuring things out, that you're waiting for the right moment. You believe movement is coming. But time passes and the phase stretches. The waiting becomes familiar. And slowly, without noticing, staying feels safer than changing. You don't feel trapped, you feel comfortable. And comfort is the most dangerous place a person can live, not because it hurts, but because it removes urgency. Comfort tells you tomorrow can look like today. Comfort tells you there's no rush. Comfort tells you things will somehow change on their own. And that's how average locks in. Average is not about money. It never was. Average is about patterns. The same mornings, the same habits, the same distractions, the same problems discussed over and over again. And you wake up, you react, you respond, you consume, you repeat. And slowly, your life becomes predictable. Predictable income, predictable stress, predictable limits. Predictability feels safe. But safety kills ambition. Once your future feels predictable, imagination shuts down. And when imagination shuts down, growth becomes optional. This is where most people get stuck for decades. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack ability, not because they lack opportunity, but because change threatens their identity. If you change too much, you stop being familiar. If you grow too fast, people don't recognize you. If you move differently, you disrupt expectations. And expectations are heavy. Everyone around you has an idea of who you are, what you're capable of, how far you're supposed to go. Breaking out of average means breaking that image. And most people would rather stay stuck than deal with being misunderstood. So they adjust their goals, they lower expectations, and they call it being realistic. But realism is often just fear dressed as wisdom. This is where hard work enters the picture and confuses people. They work hard, they stay busy, they stay exhausted, and they believe effort alone should save them. But hard work doesn't free you from average. Hard work makes you better at surviving inside it. You learn how to manage stress instead of removing it. You learn how to cope instead of escape. You become efficient at a life you don't actually want. That's the trap. You confuse functioning with progress. You confuse exhaustion with achievement. But exhaustion is not a sign you're winning, it's often a sign you're trapped. This is why motivation doesn't work. This is why quotes fade. This is why hustle culture burns people out. Because the average is not a motivation problem, it's a belief problem. If you believe your current life is normal, you will defend it, even when it drains you, even when it frustrates you, even when something feels missing. You justify it, you normalize it. You tell yourself everyone feels this way. And once struggle feels normal, urgency disappears. That's why most people never leave average. Not because they can't, but because they stop feeling the need to. The people who escape average don't do it loudly. They don't announce it. They don't argue with everyone. They don't explain themselves. They go quiet. They start thinking differently in private. They question things they used to accept. They stop reacting emotionally to everything around them. They protect their time and they protect their attention. They protect their energy. And this quiet phase feels uncomfortable. It feels slow. It feels lonely. It feels uncertain. But this is where separation begins. There's a moment most people never reach, a moment of clarity that doesn't feel exciting. It feels heavy. The moment where you realize that if nothing changes, this is your life. Not a phase, not a chapter, not a stepping stone. This. Some people panic when they see this. Most people distract themselves. They stay busy and they stay entertained. They stay occupied. Very few people decide. Decision is different from motivation. Motivation is emotional. Decision is final. Decision doesn't feel good, it feels serious. Because once you decide, excuses disappear. You can't unsee patterns. You can't blame circumstances forever. You can't say you didn't know. That's when responsibility begins. Responsibility isn't pressure, it's clarity. Once this shift happens, things change quietly. You stop chasing everything. You stop reacting to noise. You stop measuring yourself against distractions. Money becomes mechanical. Time becomes valuable. Choices become intentional.